My name is Angus Brown, and I'd like to welcome you to the Remote Rugby Interview. Featuring Jason Hartley, we're going to explore Jason's story of a path to his national experience of rugby sevens. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge that I will be hosting this interview on the unceded ancestral territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Jason, I am really excited to have you here. And I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to share a little bit about your personal path of excellence with rugby. Could you tell us a little bit about how you first got into rugby?
High school, I was at Lord Byng, and I was a bit of a basketball player in grade 8. And in grade 9, I was introduced to rugby and still continued with basketball. But yeah, I started sort of touching base with rugby. It was great. I guess it wasn't my favorite sport only because it was a bit physical. I wasn't quite comfortable with the physicality, but I started playing, and yeah, that's how my introduction was at Lord Big.
Great. So, once you first started rugby there, when did you take it to the next level? Like, when did you notice that you're
Yeah.
advancing fully?
Well, the big turning point, and I think this might be for a lot of other guys as well, was I went on a high school rugby tour. I was in grade 11. Lord Bing went to New Zealand for 4 weeks. And obviously New Zealand being not the home of rugby, but certainly a level above what we're used to in Canada. I came back from that rugby tour, and I was a new player that was super keen to play. I saw it at a high level. I don't know if I fell in love with the game, but I certainly devoted my time to playing rugby after that tour. I would say that was a life-changing trip. Yeah, it was spectacular. And I knew at that point that basketball wasn't going to be my career. And I decided that, to take rugby a bit more seriously and get more involved.
Yeah, great. So after high school, what was rugby for you? How did you continue playing and
Well, I didn't go to university, so a lot of my buddies had gone to university and played out at UBC. But I continued to play for the UBC Old Boy Ravens. That was my junior club. I was quickly included in the men's senior rugby at a fairly young age, just out of high school. So back then we played third division. We had a first, second, and third division team. And my introduction was to go down to Jericho and play with some grizzly old men, and it was intimidating for sure. But they were welcoming, and they were great, and that was sort of my next introduction to sort of after high school rugby. And yeah, I just sort of continued to play for the Ravens and a little bit on the Vancouver teams, and sort of get introduced with BC Rugby as well. But the Ravens were the next level for me.
That's great. So how did your path towards sevens begin? As I Up to now, it's mainly 15s, right? Right out of high school and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we didn't really play sevens at the junior level. There was tournaments in the summertime, which the old boys played in. And there was a tournament called the Chuckanut Sevens, which is down in Bellingham, or just over the border. And there was a few other local tournaments. So I was sort of recruited, or asked to play with the Ravens for the sevens team. And of course, it was a it suited my style of play. I didn't love tackling big humans. That wasn't part of my game. But sevens was just an easier transition. So I started playing for the Ravens during the summer months, and then we had another team that some friends of mine started, and we all started, called the Summer Box, which is mostly Ravens, but there was also some Marilomas on the team. There was a few other guys that we knew that were similar age, and we sort of started doing a bit of a circuit. Went to the Calgary Stampede Sevens. We had success because we were a bit younger, maybe a bit fitter, sort of suited our style, and yeah, that was sort of my intro to sevens, and obviously it was a game changer for me too. No different than the rugby tour that I went on in high school. Was this was sort of a this felt sort of fitted my eye and my comfort zone even more.
Yeah. So, how did you reach that next level for sevens, to get on that national stage?
Um, I don't know what the turning point was, but as I said earlier, I played in a lot of local tournaments. I had success both with the Ravens and the Summer Box. Um, so I was introduced to sort of the higher level. I knew some of the better players. I played against them in tournaments. So I just ended up sort of surrounding myself and training, a little bit more significantly. I was a bit of a young man, so I knew that training was important. There was a few key people that kind of turned me to the next level, which was Spence McTavish and guys like Doug Tate, Patty Palmer. So having success at the local tournaments gave me confidence. And yeah, I just started training hard with some young other guys and um, went to a few of the tryouts. Again, had success and was able to put myself in a position to be selected for the top team.
Yeah, awesome. What skills do you think differentiated yourself, to become a high level player?
Well, fitness to a degree, but I mean, you had to be fit. Part of sevens is obviously if you're a bigger body guy and you're not maybe as fast, but you're stronger, you can be isolated in sevens. With my body type and my skill set, I had some basketball background. I felt comfortable in open space. I had pretty good hands. I was good at seeing the field. It just became easy for me to sort of feel it's not 15s is more of a game of a game plan, a bit more of a predetermined script maybe to a
Mhm.
degree.
Definitely.
Sevens isn't. It's creative. It's you react to the moment, the second, who you're running with, who you're running against, how fast they are, how big they are. And so my skill set was, avoiding people, setting people up. I still didn't love tackling, but it was a bit easier when you tackle people similar size. I felt a little more comfortable, especially as I got older. So yeah, I think the biggest thing for me in the position, because there's guys with a lot of speed. I didn't necessarily have a ton of speed, but I was able to create space, had good hands, good vision. This is me pumping myself up, but that's what I think got me to the next level, and it made me comfortable out there.
For sure. Yeah. Would you say, if you could think of any setbacks, on that journey to the sevens, national sevens, what would those be, if there are any?
Well, I wasn't I didn't have any major injuries. I would say that, the setback for me was probably speed. So I didn't have fantastic speed. So I struggled a bit scoring tries. I was good at setting people up. For the I guess the big one is work. There wasn't a financial support system for players that played on the national team, whether you're on the 15s or the sevens. So I had to work and I had to train and I had to travel. And so the setback was really being able to manage all of those things without getting compensated financially. Of course, I loved it, got to travel, it was amazing, and I would do it again in a second. But it was a bit of a drawback because, going to your boss and explaining that you've been away for 3 weeks and then you're going to go away for another 2 weeks, it was a challenge. And I had some pushback. They didn't always support rugby after going away for, 8 or 10 weeks a year or more.
Right. Yeah. So going on to that traveling bit, where's the most memorable location your rugby career has taken you?
Oh, Hong Kong Sevens for sure. That place is special. Anybody who's been as a fan and particularly as a player, it's a sort of a theater of passion. Even walking up to the stadium or driving up to the stadium, it's a special place. Um, a full house on a Saturday afternoon. There is, for me at least, there was no better place to be. Fans were spectacular. Competition was spectacular. It had history of the game. Um, Big support for, it was if there was one tournament that you wanted to go to, it was the Hong Kong Sevens. Maybe today it's the same. I'm not 100% sure, but it is a special place.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah. So if you were to give one piece of advice to an inspiring rugby player, what would it be?
Well, train hard. I didn't, I was lucky to have some coaches that pushed me to train. You cannot train hard enough. Fitness is massively important, whether it's on the sevens or the 15s, but particularly in sevens. The fitness is you've got to really put the effort in, not just do what the regular everyone else is doing. You got to go do it on your own. You got to do it extra. It doesn't matter whether you're the most skilled guy or you're the fastest guy. You've got to be fit. And I would just continue to push anyone to say, look, you can go to practice, which you should, do all the training you need to do, but do fitness. Make sure that you've pushed yourself, because in any game, doesn't matter whether you're playing 15s or sevens, that the fitter you are at the end of the game, the better you're going to be. You're going to make the tackle. You're going to stand out. The coaches are going to recognize it, that you're fitter. So that is for me, the number one thing is be as fit as you possibly can.
Thank you so much for your insight. Um, Thank you so much for your wisdom. I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn here. And thank you for your time. And I really found it interesting how fitness is so essential for rugby. And just really thank you for your time. It was great. Very impactful words. Thank you so much.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you.
Okay.